Shohei Ohtani hits another home run. We're talking 50-50. Jack Flaherty, should the Dodgers sign him long-term, and everything that was for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we've got Dodgers insider analyst, Mr. Jose Mota joins the show. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam! It's a double for Freddie. Magic!
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor and subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and let us know down below, what does your Dodgers postseason rotation look like? And let's get right to it, because my man, Mr. Jose Mota, joining us today, one of the great baseball ball knowers in the game. This guy does it all. You hear him on the radio broadcast, you hear him doing sideline reporting, he's on Roku, Spanish or English. He used to pitch, he used to hit. This guy's like the Shohei Ohtani of Dodgers analysts right now. Jose, thank you so much for joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live.
Dougie, always a pleasure, but the comparison with Ohtani goes way high, but I'll take it. In fact, I'm wearing my Ohtani Canada shirt, which, you know.
That's a fire t-shirt. I saw the silhouette right away. You love that.
Yeah. Oh, gotta love it, man. Ohtani Canada, big club over in Canada, started when he was with the Angels and getting bigger and bigger, of course, because he is in blue.
Absolutely. By the way, also you do commercials. We have a comment that says they love your car commercials. So
three languages. We're doing 3 languages.
3 languages. The trifecta right there. There's nothing that this man can't do. There's nothing that Shohei Ohtani can't do. So we might as well just start there, because pretty much the only thing hotter than Los Angeles right now is a player playing for the Los Angeles Dodgers in Shohei Ohtani. You saw the seats. People were saying they were empty. I had Dodgers fans saying that the Golden Glove bar was packed and everyone was watching the game in there, but still Shohei Ohtani went deep once again. He's now on pace for 52 home runs, 52 stolen bases. There's a 68% chance right now that he hits 50-50, so 46 and 46. Just, your call was amazing. I love the sayonara on the call. But first, Jose, where the heck did that ball land?
Where nobody expected it. That's pretty much all I can say. Where, you know, you got to enjoy your hot dog and doing a drink. It's a hot day, and before you know it, oh, there's a baseball. Who hit it? Who else?
I mean, the facade. I mean, some people were saying it hit the World Series commemorative sign right there. It's like, did they hit it so hard it just vaporized? But I mean, just one thing I want to ask you is, down the stretch here, you've seen this guy do things that we've never seen before, as far as adding the stolen base, still hitting with power. But what gives you confidence that we're going to see this version of Shohei Ohtani in the postseason? Because I'm already hearing people out there saying he's never played in the postseason. Is he ready for the bright lights? I'm saying, have you seen him in the WBC? There's no one that's built for this like Shohei.
A couple of things that give me confidence that he's going to continue to play at this pace. Number one is the fact that he doesn't have to carry a team, which plays a huge role in a guy's psyche and mentality. Number two is his ability, man. I mean, you play in October to shine. You play in October because you know there's a lot of lights on you, and he's done it before. He did it in Hokkaido. He won in Hokkaido, too, before he ever won in the World Baseball Classic. And then number 3 is the World Baseball Classic. I mean, every eye, every ear globally is on Shohei Ohtani. What is he going to do? Is he going to play? Day one, he says, I am going to play. And then the way he acted with the fans, carrying the load of an entire country. Stephen Nelson and I just were in awe the entire time we're broadcasting the games in Tokyo, because it seems like he was just enjoying every single moment. Now, the weight of a country or the weight of a Dodger nation, I think it carries a lot to say that he's comfortable doing either, but I really, truly believe that because of everybody that he's surrounded by and the fact that he's playing for something means a lot. And the fact that Shohei's a guy that, even talking to his father years and years ago, in going back to high school days, he thrives on people trying to be better as a team than his team, and that pretty much brings out the best. And hopefully we will see that, and hopefully we will see a Shohei that does not try to carry the load by himself.
And you were with Shohei in his time in Anaheim. And unfortunately for him, that team did not have a lot of success. They never finished with a winning record. And this is the first time he's really been playing meaningful baseball in late August, deep into September. How much do you think he's thriving because of that? And do you think there's anything different from him just because of these circumstances?
It is different because when you are counting the days for the season to be over and your team is struggling, it is heavy. I mean, there's a lot of teams going through that right now. The Angels going through that again. Shohei went through that a lot of times, obviously, with the Angels. Every single year is with them. But there's something to be said about how much you're fed and your energy. You forget about the tiredness. You forget about what's coming up. You forget about extra BP or whatever you need to get your swing right. You think about competition and maximizing everything that you can from your throws as a position player and as a pitcher to your at-bats and the pitches that you see. And that's why it is so important to have a mentality that he understands and he's put in play for so many years, Doug, and taking it one day, one pitch, and go from there. Don't try to see the big map or the big picture. It's all about now. And feeding off guys like Freddie Freeman, Matt Muncy, Will Smith, these guys have been there before. I mean, certainly Mookie Betts has been there multiple times, and it only allows Shohei to go and look around the room and say, well, we're in this unit together, and amount of game doesn't matter. How hot it is, it doesn't matter. We got to go out there and know that we are targets. You've been targets for a long time since day one because the expectations have been so high with or without Shohei.
Yeah, and we had Matt Kemp in 2011. We had Belly in 2019, early Mookie. Guys where if you're going past the TV, if you're at Dodger Stadium, you better be in your seat when those guys are in the box. You never know what's going to happen for Shohei. Something special is going to happen, whether it be stolen bases, a triple, which I still think is the most exciting play in baseball, a moonshot by Shohei. But when you look at this individual accomplishment, the 50-50, something that's never been done before, I asked him a couple weeks ago about getting to 50-50, and he told me, hey, if I get to 50-50, it just means that I'm helping the team more. More home runs help the team. More stolen bases help the team. Any examples of how Shohei Ohtani really is team first despite these great individual accomplishments?
Well, you look at the things that he does for the team. Is he running every chance he gets? No, he's not running. He's running in smart situations. Is he trying to steal third every time? No. He is understanding that there's a game to be played. In their culture, there is so much respect to how you play the game that has transferred into the way he plays the game here that's not going to change. Now, the challenge is that he knows that he is the target for so many people, and he got the bullseye. Hey, stop the run. Now, make your moves with Shohei Ohtani was at the first base. Make sure you mix your looks to second base when he's at second base because he does get very good jumps. And the mound, execute your pitches as best you can because we know Shohei sometimes it gets into a swing mode and a swing without the ball even being around the plate. But when he tones it down, Doug, I think we all know it's a thing of beauty because no bat in big baseball explodes the way he does. Maybe Aaron Judge sound, but there's very few guys that have the impact that he's had. And then feeding off this whole environment. Remember, Shohei Ohtani played 3 games last September. He had the side issue, couldn't play anymore. He tried and he came out of BP in pain and that was painful to watch for me as a friend. But, man, this is so different as to how much every game means. And in a way, I'll tell you what, and I've talked about this, is it's good that the Dodgers are actually not with this big 10, 12-game lead. And please don't take that wrong because Miggy Rojas talked about this. Freddie Freeman's talked about this. Mookie Betts, Will Smith. All these games mean so much. It's like playing a playoff game. And that just makes every player forget about the individual accomplishments.
Yeah, and you put it like that. Great to put things into perspective. Let's not forget, this is a rehabbing pitcher that's doing all of this. It's kind of wild when you think about that. As far as the MVP vote goes, I saw this morning people are talking about West Coast bias. Never heard about West Coast bias about Shohei Ohtani. Wow. And talking about Francisco Lindor, he's had an incredible season. The shortstop position, the premium position. But let's not act like pitchers haven't won the MVP in the past. Let's not act like Shohei Ohtani's impact on this team, considering that Mookie missed significant time, Freddie missed time, and they have the best record in baseball. Do you think he's the clear-cut slam dunk? There's no question about it. He should run away with the MVP award?
He should win the MVP because all the reasons that you mentioned. I'm not sure it's going to be a runaway because obviously there's a lot of people in the East Coast that believe that Lindor should be a part of this. Marcell Ozuna also is going to get some votes, I believe. But, I mean, when you see this, and by the way, when's the last time we ever heard about a West Coast bias?
I was laughing.
Come on.
I mean, it's crazy.
What happens now is, you think about this. People back east. We're so inclined to watch baseball in the West. There's one reason only. His name is Shohei Ohtani. Enough said.
Exactly. And what I hate about these debates is you kind of have to really just say one player's not good. You have to talk down on them, disparaging stuff. But no, Francisco Lindor is an incredible shortstop. He's having a great year, but this is all-time stuff. We're going to be talking about Shohei's season in 2024 until the end of time. Now, as far as Shohei Ohtani goes, by the way, I'm already thinking about what's his next big accomplishment after this. Earlier this season, I had him hitting 50, becoming the Dodgers' all-time home run leader. Did not have him stealing 50 bases, I'll tell you that. So I'm not going to take credit for that. But I'm thinking, I was watching the first start at Angel Stadium, where he goes 6 1/3 innings of perfect baseball. Could it be a perfect game? Could he hit for the Triple Crown? I mean, just kind of fun stuff. I mean, what's the next incredible accomplishment I think we're going to see? I'm going to say perfect game. I'm going to say at least no hitter. I'm going to call perfect game for him at some point in his Dodgers career.
He can do that. I don't know if you've seen his bullpens, but he is not holding anything back in his bullpens. It's like, oh, he's competing already right now. And by the way, let me tell you something else. That Dodgers fans have not seen Shohei Ohtani, the competitor on the mound. It is a totally different monster. Very demonstrative, very emotional. He'll pump his fist. He will pitch inside and get you off the plate, by the way. And if not, ask Mark Canha what happened in Oakland a few years back when he hit him a couple of times. And he's not afraid to compete and say, hey, you know what? I want to throw that splitter, throw that slider in a certain spot. I need a little bit of the plate. Here's a fastball at 101, 102. Please get off the plate a little bit more. And he's going to get hit sometimes because he does throw a lot of strikes, even though his reputation when he came up with the big leagues was not of a strike thrower. He became a strike thrower by shortening his stride and sometimes even going, Doug, to a slide step with nobody on base. He'll go from the stretch. Obviously, he'll pitch from there like Yu Darvish does and so many Japanese pitchers do. But there's a side of him that when he's on the mound, he is a different animal out there. It's going to be fun to watch, and hopefully he thinks he'll continue to roll well. So he goes into spring training doing some special things and getting ready for a season. And when he takes them out, you just never know. He could beat you at 91 to 95, and then the next outing, he can go out there and be 98 to 101, nasty splitter. And there's days when he'll throw the splitter away and says, cutter, fastball, slider, I'm good to go. Let's go out there and compete.
And that's what's so exciting about this, that even if the Dodgers, or when the Dodgers go out there and win the World Series, you still have Shohei Ohtani pitching to look forward to next spring training. By the way, you're making me laugh because you're talking about that Mark Canha thing where he was throwing the fastball inside. I'll never forget that when the bases cleared on that and they're kind of jawing with each other and Shohei Ohtani just asking for a new ball, smiling. It really just shows you everything for Shohei. He's not going to get involved.
Okay, let's get going. It's like, okay, okay.
Awesome stuff. Now, speaking of pitching, Jack Flaherty was outstanding yesterday, and Jack Flaherty continues to be exactly what the Dodgers needed from as far as acquiring a pitcher at the deadline. Someone that can go deep into games, someone that can pitch with runners on base. He's so poised, and so far a 2.61 ERA in 7 starts, 47 punch-outs, 10 walks, and 41 in the third innings. But has he been even better than you expected in LA?
Oh, way, way better. I mean, there's no doubt. We knew this guy was good, and he has been on the radar for the Dodgers for, a couple of years. But, man, he brings an edge that you can only learn by watching him pitch on a daily basis, by watching his workouts. It's 110 degrees the other day at Dodger Stadium. He's out there on that field doing his work and preparing for yesterday's start. Well, look at the weather yesterday. There's not a lot of guys that sustain that and that are not looking the bullpen in the 5th or 6th inning going, please, I need a little help out here. But he's so focused. His stuff, good. And he makes it better by the way he pitches. And here I'm explaining that. He has talked about how guys take pitches. I asked players on the opposing side, doing my homework, hey, the way you take a pitch, what does it say about you? Well, sometimes it says, I might take a pitch to fool the pitcher and make him think that I was full on the take, just to see if he repeats it. Well, Jack Flaherty reads things like that, like Clayton Kershaw has done for so many years, and says, I'm going to repeat it again and again until I steal a strike, and then we're going to go out there and play the cat and mouse game, which pitch is coming, because he can beat you with 93, 94 up in the zone, thinking that it's going to be 97, 98 in your eyes and perception when it's not. But he is not a thrower. This guy's a pitcher. He inundates the zone. He floods the zone with quality strikes, and that's one thing. Strike one turns a hitter into a more defensive hitter, and then what he does is, because if you look at 0-1 contact, Doug, throughout baseball, watch everybody go look at this. 0-1 contact throughout baseball. Hitters hitting over 300. 0-1, yes, they are. But now what happens is, if you're 0-1, then your next pitch is just close enough or buy that turns into an 0-2 because you're spreading the zone, or he takes it to a 1-on-1 where they reach out, then it's a different story. This guy knows how to pitch, and his stuff plays down well in the zone. He believer in pitching downstairs, inducing ground balls, and keeping his defense ready to work. Consider that even last night or yesterday, his strikeouts didn't come out until middle of the game. When he found it, though, he was able to spin and finish guys up, but he had his defense engaged because he's throwing a lot of quality strikes out of the zone.
Yeah, it almost feels like a throwback type of pitcher, right? I mean, it all starts with the fastball command, and even if he does miss the zone with the fastball, it almost feels like it's intentional. He knows exactly what he wants to do out there with every single pitch. I mean, opponents hitting 189 with runners in scoring position on him. I mean, I just think Jack Flaherty's been a fantastic fit, and I love the way he trusts his defense, allows that pitches to the pitch count low, and you're going more efficiently, and I think that he's a fantastic fit. The question is, where does he fit into the postseason rotation? Because Tyler Glass now, he's your clear-cut one. Yamamoto, we'll see him tomorrow. But, I mean, Jack Flaherty is someone who could be your number 1 or your number 3. It doesn't really matter, right?
You know, I'm going to go into with an open mentality about this, okay? I'm going to say that you have to prove to me that you are ready to be number 1 to go out there and beat a team right away, you know, health-wise. And right now, Glass now has to answer that question for me and for a lot of people. If Jack Flaherty, not the name, I'd like to know who it is. The way he's pitching right now, he should be the one being considered number 1. He's going to go out there and take the ball against anybody and stay to his standards. Number 2 is, you want to save some innings out of that bullpen? Flaherty, okay? And then the fact that he is going to be able to know that he's played through this before, significant games with the Cardinals back at a very early age, and know that his stuff, the way he works, is not going to fizzle out in October. And you need somebody to set a tone of, you know what, this really matters, and it bothers me if we have a bad inning, and no better than somebody like that that's, even though he is not, for many people, a number 1, I think you go up with an open mind and say, who's pitching better? Who deserves to have the momentum for us to carry into a Game 5 or a Game 7 eventually, right? And right now, to me, the answer is the guy taking the mound who has been better than advertised, because we know what kind of competitor he is. That's Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, I love that. And it really just speaks to the depth that the rotation potentially has if everyone's healthy. And with Jack Flaherty, he does have Game 1 stuff. He does have Game 2 stuff. And I also think, too, his floor is really high, especially when you consider the fact that he was dealing with the back. We really see no signs of that affecting him on the mound. So really the blow-up innings, even if he gives up a couple runs, hey, you got a great offense. And if you go out there and pitch 6, 7 innings, potentially 2-3 run ball, you know you give your team a really good chance to win. Now, as far as Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I could not be more excited to see him back on the mound tomorrow. Going up against Shota Imanaga, that's going to be fantastic for all of our Japanese fans as well, that Japanese showdown. But what do you think are fair expectations for Yoshinobu Yamamoto in his return for the rest of the month and of the postseason?
Hopefully he'll be able to give you 4 innings, give you 4 solid innings. And it's one thing we got to be careful too, is if he's out there at 4 innings and he's dominating and he's at 55, 60 pitches, how much do you want to push him to say, hey, maybe he does have 65 or 70. You got to be very careful with that. His body will tell you, the way the ball's coming out of his hand will tell you. But this first start, remember, now is between the white lines with big league team that he actually pitched pretty well against back in April in Chicago. He pitched all over a couple of bases loaded jams. We got to see how his stuff plays out too, because if there's a lot of effort in finding the zone and efforting to find velocity, hopefully it's not going to be the case. Maybe 50 is the limit, and he goes 3 plus. But in a perfect world, Doug, we would like to see 5 and 65, 5 and 70, 5 and 75, because that means that the way he keeps progressing coming from that injury, it's only a matter of building up more to know that, hey, he's a guy that perhaps could be slotted right into the top of the rotation in October. But I'll see how things play out. Keep an eye also on when guys are coming off the shoulder injury. If there's any pushing, if there's any variance in their delivery, the push needs to come from the legs and needs to stay on top of the baseball to make sure that everything flows right into where it needs to flow. And also how much usage he does on a splitter tomorrow would be very indicative.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, what is something you're looking for early on in some of these starts that tells you that, hey, he is okay, that shoulder is fine, and you can really count on him in the postseason?
I'm not going to look at my velocity. I don't want to see 97, 98 to be convinced of anything. Yeah. If he's a 93, 94, that's good enough for me, because he has enough to work with his stuff to locate. And then the answer that I need from him is, which pitch is he going to go to get early outs, which he can do with a ground ball, and how much he forces a strikeout. I hope that the strikeout does not become the primary purpose of showing people that he's ready, And he just goes out there and shows the world that he is a complete pitcher by pitching and not throwing.
Unbelievable. And I think you look at him, some people say, oh, he's a rookie. I see the 3-time Cy Moore winner. I see the guy who in game 6 of the Japan series had 14 strikeouts and threw 138 pitches to force a game 7. What kind of expectations should we have for him if everything's right in the postseason? Someone who's more like a rookie or someone who has that big time, big game experience?
There's no rookie in this guy.
Yeah, love that.
Only by the standard of Major League Baseball, right? Which he's a rookie, but with the experience, with the innings, the stadium that he's playing in, the expectations, the pressure, the years that he's carried a team and a flag into postseason and into the Japan series just tells you that he knows exactly what the expectations are here, even though he hasn't lived it. But baseball is baseball, man. 50,000 in the stands, 45,000 in the stands, knowing that every single game counts, every single pitch counts. Those are things that you cannot teach, and it doesn't matter where you play and what the pressure is like. You know who you are because you've done it before, and that's the thing you remember the most. When you have that little voice in you that says, boy, I'm in different ballpark and different country, and they're yelling at me, and I'm an opposing team, a ballpark, you don't think about those things. You think about what got me through this before, what did I go to, and then let me go back to that pool and use that. There's a warehouse, there's a storage room to go. I'm going to pull off of that to know that I need to go out there and just execute pitches, and I've done before in big scenarios too.
And we saw what he did on a big stage at Yankee Stadium. Yes, it wasn't the postseason, but I think that was a small taste of what we're going to see from Yamamoto. Yamamania is still happening in 2024. Now, as far as another injured player that is going to be a big X factor for this team, Teoscar Hernandez. Feels like the Dodgers dodged a bullet a couple of days ago. He gets a ball on his foot. Thankfully, it was a slider. It wasn't a fastball like he told us yesterday. But what have you seen from Teoscar before the game, just kind of working out? I mean, what do you think his status is, and how confident are you that he's going to be able to come back and be who he was?
My biggest relief is the fact that Teoscar did the smart thing and they got him out of the game. Actually, I spoke with Matthew Boyd 2 days ago, and he felt so bad. I mean, he was like, I feel terrible that I hit this guy. He goes, I'm happy it was not a fastball. It was a breaking ball, but I still feel bad because he's a key piece, obviously, of that team out there. When that's when the Guardians are competing for something, and Boyd's also looking to keep that place in the rotation. That tells you how much big league players care about each other. But Teoscar, very encouraging. What I saw on the field, him working out, the strength, the jump, the push, and the quick exit off his first step. I think are key things that are encouraging to me. I think the weather helps a lot too. He's from the Dominican. He knows what the heat is like. It is so much better to go out there and try to recover from an injury when it's warm like this and when it's cold. And I know that Teoscar will do the smart thing and know and tell and communicate with his team and Dave Roberts and the rest of the medical staff if something's not right. Now, it is not his push leg. It is his landing foot. And in that case, sometimes, you know what, Doug? I've seen a lot of guys get hurt in the front foot and become better hitters because now there's a softer landing and your hands have to do all the work for you. And we know what happens when Teoscar is a very good hands hitter. Things do explode right through the zone.
And we're going to see him in full gear now, just like we see Shohei Ohtani with all the gear, all the protective gear. So I definitely am looking forward to seeing that version of Teoscar Hernandez. But outside of the big three, outside of Shohei and Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, would you say he is the most important bat for the Dodgers in the postseason? Or is it some like a Will Smith or a Max Muncy?
I'm going to go Will Smith. Teoscar's going to do what he does. Muncy's going to do what he does. He's been there before too. But Will Smith, to me, what he showed back in 2020, playing in a very difficult scenario, neutral scenario, just tells me that there's way more in that tank than what we've seen. Hopefully, this last series and the better at bats are an indication of that. And the fact that now he doesn't have to feel like I'm batting fourth. We have no Mookie in there and no Freddie or no Muncy. I'm batting fourth all the time or third. He can go down and just fool people by hitting in the lower slot, knowing that the opportunities will be there no matter what. And then for Will, different swing path and even mentality than Teoscar. Will is a contact type of mentality with men in scoring position. That's why throughout his career he's been so good. He can spoil a lot of good pitches and frustrate pitchers, which also helped guys coming behind him to go out there maybe make productive outs and score some runs. But the Dodgers need Will Smith to be a solid Will Smith because that just makes it even more impossible for the guys on the other side.
Absolutely agree with you. And I think that he's a guy that's going to benefit from when the postseason comes along. Everyone's batting average is 000, right? And he's not going to look at it at the scoreboard. He knows his postseason success. He's going to get, hopefully, the layoff of 4 days with the Dodgers winning the division, hopefully. So totally agree with you on that one. I think Teoscar Hernandez, as long as he's healthy, he's going to do what he does, man. This guy just rakes. That's what he does. But Jose, also want to talk to you about your experience on the call doing a game on Roku. Dodgers fans that didn't have Roku, they were scrambling. Thankfully, we all found a way to get it. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great game for the boys in blue. Robleski, he tied the record for 10 earned runs given up. But still, I mean, talk about the experience. And one of the great things about it was because of the score, you got a chance to tell some really cool stories.
Oh, it was great, man. We had Geraldo Perdomo, mic'd up at shortstop. And I am one that I don't like to bother players like with a microphone when they're playing, but I was like, you know what? We got to go out there and maximize this and just take the fans on the mentality of a fielder. What is he thinking right now? And Geraldo and I have had a very good relationship for many years since he was a young kid coming out of the Dominican. The scout this time was one of my best friends, Junior the ball back in the Dominican. So things like that are important to me that the fans get to know about. What double play depth that I was talking about with him. The one time he asked us, hey, can you guys hear the pitch?
Yeah.
Because you know what happened with Kike Hernandez
Yeah.
one time. I'm like, no, but what will you do if I told you that I can't? He never got to answer that. That's one of the things. Also, when you do a national game, which I've done for so many years, back since '97 when I started in broadcasting, it is a perspective of both ball clubs. And for a lot of fans, sometimes like, hey, you're not talking enough about my team or your team. Is more like, no, but I'm talking about baseball. I'm a baseball fan. I study teams. I look at standings. I look at different scenarios. I look at what's happening around the league, not just what's going on with my team, because I want to be more educated to relate that to the fan and to relate it to myself and be more informed, right? So that's why the national games to me are very attractive, because it forces you to do a little bit more research on the other side and around the league of what they're facing. Troy Lovullo went to his office, 20 minutes. I got to talk to Brent Strom. I got to talk to Joe Mather. I got to talk to Damon Easley. I got to talk to Mike Fetter. So all those things that perhaps you don't get to do on a regular basis at a national game, now you're exposing things that being told by the opposing manager and coaches to the Dodger audience and vice versa. So it just what happens every single day, by the way, among them. And I think it's terrific when, thankfully, and I've been very blessed, I thank God, I've been put in a situation where at least I can go out there and explain those things, because I've been living those things in that clubhouse since I was 4 years old. And I understand what leaves and what doesn't leave a clubhouse. But I think the perspective is these are still human beings. They're still trying to outmanage each other, outplay each other. And now with technology like Roku and many other outlets, you're allowed to get more in depth about that. We actually had Miggy Rojas, we couldn't use it, mic'd up and going through his workout routine. And he's talking about that first game in Arizona. Remember the many scores and who's going to win this game, and ended up 10-9, right? And Miggy's talking about, man, I'm out there going, oh my God, I feel bad. Oh, I feel great. Oh, I feel bad. Then I feel great. And things like that really feed after what the fans expect nowadays with social media and the many more information value that we have to provide for them. It's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, give me all the
inside of me. I'm like, Dodgers need to win.
Oh, no, I totally get it. And look, that's why I think that guys like you and Joe Davis do such an excellent job at doing this. Look, it's about growing the game. It's about learning about other players, other franchises. And I feel like when you know more about other teams' players and how they go about it, you have a better understanding of your team. And I think for Dodgers fans, you realize how good you have it, okay? Because let's be honest, lots of success here for Dodgers fans and a lot of talent here as well. But could not agree with you more. I think it's a great thing to see. One of my favorite mic'd up moments was Miguel Rojas when he fielded the plays like, I got to make this play, and he goes back to it. But then you got the Kike one against the Yankees where he doesn't make the play and things you just never know. That's what makes him so exciting. I mean, look, give me all the mic'd up. I think the first baseman of every single team should be mic'd up for every single broadcast. Would you sign up for that, Jose?
A lot of things are said at first base.
You can bleep stuff out. Come on.
Yeah, you can bleep it. I mean, there's tons of managers like, did they hear that? Like, no, it's only the truck heard, and they know not allowed to use it. Umpires themselves are mic'd up, and it's not an issue. So there's a way of doing it in which you get to hear enough how much fun it is. The conversations that happen at first base about, hey, how was dinner today? What are you going to do after the game and things like that. And even first base coach coming over and say, hey, get away from this guy. I want to tell you something right now that I see in this picture. So all those things are just so much fun. I recall, remember 1974, the Dodgers World Series against the A's? Tom Minnesota's mic'd up as his third base coach. Go find that film, and you will have so much fun listening to Tom Lasorda talking about Joe Ferguson and Steve Garvey, and then talking to umpire Ron Luciano at third base. This conversation between these two Italians was marvelous. Go find that, and you're going to have a lot of fun. And that's what we're talking about, how it's grown since 1974 on film.
Priceless stuff, priceless stuff. And Jose Mota, we thank you so much joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live. You're getting so much love down below in the comment section. Guys, go follow him if you don't already on the X, on Instagram. Listen to the Spanish broadcast, him and Pepe and Ninguez and Fernando Valenzuela. See him at the stadium. But Jose, it's getting real. End of the season's coming up. Postseason's near. We'll check in with you soon, but thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later, Jose.
Sayonara, matane.
There you go. Mr. Jose Mota. He's the best, man. This guy, he knows ball better than anyone out there. Not just the player side, but the manager side, the broadcaster side from different countries. I mean, this guy is so versatile. I know that's a stretch. I mean, calling him the Ohtani of broadcasters for the Dodgers, but no, it's not. I mean, this guy, bilingual, trilingual, can do broadcasts in English and in Spanish. I mean, I showed up to the clubhouse a couple weeks ago and I was like, where's Kirsten? And I see him with the Sportsnet mic and he was doing that job as well. So very versatile, knows ball, loves baseball to the core. And honestly, let's be honest, he's Dodgers royalty, right? His dad is Manny Mota. He's Dodgers royalty right there. And we always appreciate him joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live. But let's dive into the comments here. Andreas Diaz. Hey, D-Mac, your boy Andres from Utah. Thanks for having Jose Mota, giving us Motas of fact, truth here. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what he does. That's what he does. JWR fan, most of your fans aren't old enough to know how truly loved Manny Mota, Jose's dad, was as the ever reliable last hope PH in the ninth. Of course, PH stands for pinch hitter. Yeah, I mean, Mota is one of the best pinch hitters of all time, right? There's nothing that... don't let anyone tell you any different, right? I mean, this guy's an absolute legend. We got Noise by Noel. What's up, Noel Sanchez? Let's check in with you. He's wearing a Vince Carter. Is that a Vince Carter Toronto Raptors jersey?
Yes, sir. You know the vibes.
That's a top 10. It's a top 10 NBA throwback, and I like the white better than the purple reddish one.
Appreciate that, D-Mac. Yeah, I like the dinosaur, man. You know, shout out Toronto, shout out to Six.
Yeah, shout out to Damon Stoudemire, man. Shout out to that shout out Tracy McGrady.
Shout out Tracy McGrady, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love that era of Raptors basketball. But he says the Jack Flaherty and Cameron Brink link up was legendary. Yeah, I think it bears repeating. I mean, Jack Flaherty goes out there, he dominates against a really good Guardians team. He's like, you know, what am I gonna do for the rest of the day? I'm gonna pull up, check out the Sparks game. He was dripped out, man. I mean,
there was a quote. I'm not too sure if it was real because I didn't see it in too many places. I hope it was real. I wish it was real, but apparently a reporter asked Jack Flaherty, how were you able to go out there and pitch in 103-degree weather? And he said, bro, I grew up in the valley.
I did see that.
I don't know if it was real, though. But
I did see that.
That's tough.
I mean, hey, if it was on the internet, it was 100% real. That's how that works. But yeah, no, I did see that. And look, that just, my takeaway from that is like, man, he just feels so comfortable pitching for this organization, pitching in Los Angeles. He knows what it means to have that Dodgers name across your chest. And look, I mean, the Dodgers are in pretty good shape starting pitching wise next season. If everyone gets healthy and stays healthy with the return of Shohei Ohtani, and you already have Glass now and Yamamoto, and Gavin Stone is trended in the right direction. He's put together an amazing rookie season. But hey, look, the Dodgers are opportunistic and they understand value. And if Jack Flaherty has a really good postseason and he wants to stay in LA, I'm sure there's a number on both sides where a deal could be reached. And I'm just throwing it out there just because, look, we've seen this team let guys walk. It's more often than not, that's the case. And the truth is that that's probably what's going to happen in this situation. But man, I mean, reliability, he just feels like just so cool, calm, and collected out there. And he's pitching in that heat. He knows what it's like to be in LA. So like, sign me up for Jack Flaherty coming back. Rosemary Rodriguez says Flaherty feels home. So let's go Dodgers. Give you some love on that one for sure. He does. He feels like he's home. And just imagine him winning a World Series with the Dodgers. I remember a couple of seasons ago, they asked him where his favorite place to pitch was, favorite ballpark, zero hesitation. Before the reporter could finish asking their question, he jumps in Dodger Stadium. So, I mean, I just want to see like Jack Flaherty looking in the mirror for the first time with his Dodgers jersey on. He must have just had an absolute moment, probably shed a tear. That's how excited he was. And a couple of the things that I was looking for this weekend, I asked for, if you watch the preview show on Friday, I said, please let me get 2 home runs from Shohei Ohtani. What did we get? We got 2 home runs from Shohei Ohtani. I wanted to see a better series from Will Smith. Yesterday, we got 3 for 4 for Will Smith. And the third thing, I wanted to see no blow-up innings, no blow-up games, and let's see the Detroit version of Jack Flaherty. Let's see the best version of Jack Flaherty, and that's certainly what we saw this weekend. That version of Jack Flaherty, if for whatever reason, I mean, look, you know what the crazy thing right now is the Dodgers have Jack Flaherty as possibly their number 1 starter or their number 3 starter. The Dodgers have Jack Flaherty as the only one of their postseason starters that are actually active right now. We expect to see Yamamoto tomorrow. Things are trending in the right direction for Tyler Glass now. Gavin Stone, that's a big question mark. We'll talk a little more about that. But the stability is exactly what they needed. Jumbo Jack Flaherty, the jack of all trades. Rebecca Michelle David says, Jack Flaherty, the postseason rotation is calling you. Oh, he's a lock for that. It's just a question of game 2 or game 3. I think that a lot of that depends on how Yamamoto looks in the 4 starts he's going to get when he comes back from that injury. Because I think for Yamamoto, yes, we saw him pitch well at Yankee Stadium, but would it be better to have him go in a game 2 and you're just stepping on your opponent's throat? And you got Glass down game 1, Yamamoto in game 2, and then Flaherty as the guy that can handle when runners are on base. I mean, that was the beautiful thing about a start yesterday. There was traffic all game long, but he singles, wasn't getting hit hard or anything, but he had people on base and he was still able to execute pitches and get swing and miss when he needed to. I think Mota pointed out, you get ground ball outs, you pitch to contact and trust your defense earlier in starts so you can have an efficient start. And then later in your start, when you need to rear back and get a big strikeout in a big situation, he can do just that. For him, starts with fastball command. When he has the fastball command, the slider and the curveball, they have that depth. They have that bite, that late break. It looks like a fastball, and all of a sudden falls off the table. It reminds me a little of Clayton Kershaw's slider in the depth, in the break of it. So when you have that ability to have success with runners on base and you don't get rattled if you give up a home run, if you give up a couple runs, you can just take a deep breath and continue on with your start. That's the kind of pitcher that plays up on the road. And that's why I think Jack Flaherty might be best suited as the Dodgers game 3 starter, but could be just as valuable as their game 1 starter. So love Jumbo Jack Flaherty. I'm excited to see him pitch in the postseason. I mean, this is a boyhood dream being realized. Okay. A lot of players, when they sign with the Dodgers, they'll say, oh, it's a dream to play with this organization. And it sounds great. Is it necessarily true? Some of them, absolutely. Jack Flaherty, 100%. It's all about the Dodgers for Flaherty. We got Big Joe Smash. D-Mac, can I get a bruh for all the empty seats yesterday? Heat or no heat, stadium looked awkward, empty. Big Joe Smash, I'll give you a bruh. But I will also let you know that the Dodgers lead the league in attendance. The Dodgers have more fans as far as fan engagement, as far as filling up the seats than any team in Major League Baseball. And it was hot as heck yesterday, 103 degrees. And like I said, I was talking to people in the game and they told me, hey, the seats were empty. The bars weren't. If you went to the Golden Glove bar, that thing was packed to the brim with fans trying to escape the heat. Also, let's be honest, it was the first day of football. It was the first day of football where, I'm not afraid to say it, Tony Taters, he beat me in week 1. You did? No, dude.
You beat me, bro.
What?
I'm pretty sure. I think I had 98 points and he had like 130 something. You won, dude. You beat.
No, it was the other way around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tony Taters.
What?
Tony Taters. Hey, look, I won this league last year, and I lost the first game and ended up winning the league, so I'm not going to take too much from that. But yeah, I mean, congratulations. Give you a let's go Dodgers. You know, I should have I wish ESPN believed you and they would give me your points and we could reverse it. But I mean, what's your fantasy name?
Caste Cave Bats.
Yes, that's you. You are Caste Cave. Like he got Cooper Kupp. How did everyone's fantasy teams do, by the way? We got D-Mac. Are you going to neglect us now that it's football season? Come on now, Daniel Clark. Come on. You know, I live and breathe Dodger baseball. And come on now. These are my kids. I love them all equally. We got a great name from BT Fouts. Now, look, when you look at this team, another big question mark is Gavin Stone. And I don't know if you guys heard Andrew Friedman's comments on Gavin Stone, but basically with the shoulder inflammation, they aren't going to let him throw or pick up a baseball for 10 days. And with Gavin Stone, it remains to be seen how many starts he can get when he comes back, how he looks when he comes back. But yeah, I mean, they would not commit to him pitching for the rest of the season. And that's the right thing to do, but definitely is concerning. It definitely is concerning. There's no doubt about that. And as far as Teoscar Hernandez, good thing about Teo is they said he's not going to be on the IL. He avoided that IL stint. And he did tell reporters that thankfully it was a slider, not a fastball from Matthew Boyd that hit his back foot. And he was writhing in pain. He wasn't putting weight on it. The scans, all the imaging came back negative. I do want to see if he's going to truly be back as soon as they believe, because you can backdate the IL 3 days. So there's a way you can kind of manipulate a little bit to give him some extra rest if you want to go that route. But I just wouldn't rush him back unless he's close to or at 100%, because he's that important to this team in the postseason. This year, hitting 266 with a 128 weighted runs created plus. So he's been 28% above league average. He's hit 28 home runs. He has 87 RBIs, 257 extra total bases. So, I mean, he leads the team. He leads the team this season with 179 appearances with runners in scoring position. He leads the team in that number. In those spots, he's slashing 287, has a 393 on base, slugging 540 with a 158 weighted runs created plus. So he's been 58% above league average with runners in scoring position. Teoscar Hernandez is pivotal. I know that Jose Mota said that Will Smith is the X factor. Totally agree with that, because I think that the variance there is much wider. Are we going to get all-star Will Smith, or are we going to get the Will Smith that we saw for 3+ months of the season where he's hitting around 200 and he's not looking like the Smitty that we saw to start the year? But I think the floor for Teoscar Hernandez is much higher as far as what we're going to get from him this season. But got to talk about his replacement a little bit. Andy Pages hit the home run on Saturday. Yesterday had a little blunder trying to barehand a ball that led to an error. So, I mean, look, the defense is never going to be his calling card. But Pages, I think when you look at what he can bring to this team, the big question is, does he make this roster? And him and Chris Taylor, I feel, are battling out for those last couple spots. Kevin Kiermaier, he was in center yesterday as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting down the stretch. And this does give Andy Pages an extra opportunity to show this organization what he can do. And he certainly wants to make his case. And I think for the most part, I mean, the home run on Saturday, he goes 1 for 3, had the 2 RBIs. Yesterday, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. So this month, since the September call-ups, he's 2 for 12, hitting 167 with a 583 OPS. So I think right now, if you look at the lack of versatility that he doesn't play in the infield, I think that he's the odd man out. Chris Taylor hasn't been that much better in September. CT3 did go 1 for 2 yesterday, had an RBI and a strikeout. And for the month of September, he goes 4 for 16 with a 607 OPS, hit 250. So look, I mean, it's the end of the roster at this point, barring injury. Probably not going to see Dalton rushing, but let me know down below. We got to Paul Gutierrez, DMAC. When will Glasnow be back? So we've talked about this a couple different times, and really the Tyler Glasnow thing is Dave Roberts said best case scenario would be September 15th. So September 15th, mid-September, possibly give him a couple of starts. He threw a 25-pitch bullpen session on Saturday. So the way it goes, you play catch on flat ground. 60 feet, 90 feet, 120 feet. And the bullpen sessions, they've been good. The velocity has been there. He's bounced back well from them. But the next big step is a sim game in facing hitters. And then Dave also said that he probably needs a rehab start. So you look at the way the math is mathing as far as the schedule goes. I mean, hopefully you can get at the very least one start, ideally two, as he ramps up for the postseason. And the truth is, look, I mean, someone like Yamamoto, who missed 2.5 months, the ramp up period is going to be longer, right? Because you missed significant time. You weren't throwing for a good amount of time before you picked up a baseball and really started the process. Well, Glasnow is not that far removed from pitching like a Yamamoto was. I mean, he's still going to need ramp up, and it remains to be seen if they can count on him to go 6 or 7 innings. But I still believe in my heart of hearts that this is them veering on the side of 1, caution, and 2, the realization that their postseason success is tied to their starting pitching. And I say that because they know what they have in their lineup. They know how talented their lineup is, but pitching, and look, they didn't lose last season to the Diamondbacks because they didn't pitch, even though you didn't get a great start from Kersh, had the worst start of his career. And Bobby Miller didn't have a good start. Lance Lynn gave another home run. Sure, but they did not hit. And in 2022, they did not hit. I think they're more confident that this version of the Dodgers lineup is going to hit. But at some point, even if pitching wasn't the number one problem in the NLDS, and look, anytime you go to the plate and you're trailing by 6 runs, it's going to impact your approach at the plate. There's no doubt about that. But even though that wasn't a problem necessarily as far as how you compare it to their inability to get any rallies going, at some point you need your starting pitching to dominate in the postseason. And if that's not the NLDS, it's the NLCS. And certainly it's going to be in the World Series. So they realize that with Tyler Glasnow, and that's why I fully believe that's the case. But he hasn't pitched since August 11th, the Dodgers' 6-5 win in extra innings, where he went 7 innings and gave up 2 runs on 5 hits. So hasn't been too long ago, but still, I mean, we're almost at the 1 month mark. But some more questions down below, some more comments. A super chat from Adrian Salazar, $4.99 super chat. DMAC, do we have a magic number yet? Can't wait to see Shows in Yama's first playoff champagne shower. If I am correct, I believe the magic number is currently 13. I'm actually going to do a lot of people just say that. They don't know what actually it means. I'm going to actually do a whole explanation on the magic number on tomorrow's show. So it's definitely something you'll want to check out so you can actually know, if you don't know, kind of how it's constructed. We got Carlosi Perez. Dalton has earned a shot. Don't know why they brought up Pages, even if Dalton cannot get a start. That's a deadly left-handed bat off the bench. Well, I think there's a couple things in play here. One, you want Dalton Rushing to get consistent at-bats. And if they didn't see a path to get him 50 plate appearances to truly assess where they have in him heading into the postseason, they probably didn't see it as a worthwhile, viable option to assess what he has. And look, they still could get him on the roster. All you have to do is look at the loophole. He fills in for an injured player. There's ways that he can do it. And look, I believe that if Teoscar did go to the IL, it was going to be Andy Pages, because James Outman, you already have Kevin Kiermaier. If you want a defense first outfielder, you already have that in Kevin Kiermaier. There was really no reason to bring up James Outman once again, instead of giving Dalton Rushing his opportunity to face big league pitching. But hey, at this point, I'm all about roster crunches. You guys know I love that. I live for that. But right now, Andy Pages was just ahead of him on the pecking order. It's not like he didn't have success too. I mean, he was raking down in AAA as well. So had Pages got sent down and got injured or wasn't performing well down in AAA, I think that they would have gone with Dalton Rushing. But I think they also let Pages earn that opportunity. He certainly did just that. Ray F, at this point in time, Flaherty is looking like our number 1, definitely number 2. Look, I'm okay with that, and it's a good thing. I think when they're all 100% healthy, Glasnow is the clear-cut number 1 because his stuff is so dominant the way it plays. But it's still a question, as Mr. Jose Mota said. By the way, I'm going to shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Once again, Prize Picks, the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of batting and battling against thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection, and you watch the winnings roll in. So definitely go to prizepicks.com and enter the code NATION. That's NATION and play. I love Prize Picks. I play it daily. It's fun. You get to learn more about sports. It changes the way you watch the game a little more intently, kind of looking for the outcome. So yeah, Prize Picks is 100% the best daily fantasy sports platform. You guys play Prize Picks? Let me know down below. Bilal K, Flaherty, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Stone, and Knack. We got Carlos Perez. Pages had his moments, but he's trying to be this year's version of Puig. I would say he's trying to be this year's version of Yasiel Puig. I did say early in the season that I actually said that Teoscar Hernandez is like Yasiel Puig without the drama. But I think Pages, the strikeouts are high when he gets into slumps. He rakes against lefties, doesn't rake as consistently against righties. So that definitely is an issue there. But how about tonight, guys? We got the Cubs coming in town. The Cubs are headed to Dodger Stadium. You got a big showdown on Tuesday. Hopefully we see the return of Yoshinobu Yamamoto going up against Shota Imanaga. And look, it's Yamamoto's first start back. You can't expect him to go 7 no-hit innings like Imanaga went, but still, that's going to be exciting. And I know that both pitchers are going to be excited to play in that one, to be on the rubber. And tonight, though, you got Kyle Hendricks, a 6.60 ERA, going up against Walker Buehler. So, number one storyline, is Walker back? Does Butane build on that last start against the Angels where he pitched very, very well? It looks like he's found something. He's not fighting the mechanics. They're more consistent. The curveball has been really, really a plus pitch for him. So the number one thing to look for tonight is if Walker Buehler pitches well, then I think that we get some more clarity about the number 4 starter in this rotation. Can you imagine that after all this season has presented us, that Walker Buehler could end up being the Dodgers game 4 starter with the uncertainty of Gavin Stone, the uncertainty of Clayton Kershaw? I think Landon Knack, who we're going to have on the show this week, shout out to Noise by Noel. Landon Knack, I mean, he's a guy who's saying, look, man, the Knack attack is for real. I mean, let me in. I want to face guys in the postseason. I'm not afraid of the moment. But I do think that feels like it's there for the taking for Walker Buehler if he continues to have quality starts. Then Tuesday, Shota Imanaga, a 2.99 ERA, going up against Mr. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yamamania resumes on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, you got Jordan Wicks versus TBD. So we'll talk a little bit about that start tomorrow. So a couple more walk-off shots. Carl says Knack is better than Buehler. Yamamoto starting game 2 from Christopher. We got Jonah. Yamamoto gonna be throwing gas. Hey, don't throw too much gas. We saw what happened against the Yankees when you pump 97. Then you only were able to go 2 innings your next start. We haven't seen it for 2.5 months. But Orlando says Ohtani's ball is literally in orbit floating over Dodger Stadium. I think it vaporized. I really do. Either that or it's somewhere clearing the International Space Station. But, I mean, Ohtani is spectacular. I got to have a deep dive on the 50-50 tomorrow. We can do it today, but we'll save it for tomorrow. 50-50 coming soon from G-Man Evans. Neil before Zode 21. Ohtani is hungry. We got Cowboy 5 rings. The way our rotation has been lately with injuries, signing Flaherty is a no-brainer. Carmen Alexander, D-Mac. Sunday was hot and so was Flaherty. Very impressive. El Mach Chingon says Dodgers need to sign Jay Flair and Teo. We don't need Adames, E-Man, Rojas. Adames feels like feel attacked by that Adames thing, because I need him in Dodger blue. Jorel Rodriguez, D-Mac, thinking of how to acquire Miguel Vargas. D-Mac is thinking of how to acquire Miguel Vargas next year. Always thinking about bringing Miggy Var back. But last thing, we're doing some called shots. Who's going deep tonight? Let's start with Tony Taters, Mr. Fantasy Champion. By the way, you're right. I did look at it, and I did read it wrong. I did win.
You did win, right?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Wait, did you really?
Yeah.
My bad. Shout out to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. I totally won. Just like the Astros won the 2017 World Series, right?
Oh, snap.
No, I was playing.
I was at the beach all day yesterday. I didn't check. But anyway, called shot. I'm going to say my homie Max Muncy once again.
Called shot, Maximum Muncy. Hey, good to see him going deep, right? How about you, Mr. Noel Sanchez, Young Lotto, who is hitting a home run tonight for your Los Angeles Dodgers?
Number 47 for Shohei Ohtani tonight.
47 for a show bomb for Ohtani. I like that. I like that. How about you? Serena is still representing with us. She's been on fire too. She's been killing with their home run shots. Who you got going deep tonight for the Dodgers?
As always, Mookie Betts.
Going Mookie Betts?
Yeah.
I like that. Look, I was going to say Mookie Betts too.
Yeah.
I like Mookie Betts tonight going deep. Is Shohei going to go deep again? I don't think Shohei goes deep again tonight. I think we see Will Smith. I want to see a bomb from Smitty tonight. So I got Smitty and I'm going to hit a bomb. I'm going deep. Smitty and Mookie tonight. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe for the channel. A lot of people saying Freeman. Carl says Freeman. Kevin says Freddie. Going yard. 2 homers and 3 stolen bases from Shohei during this series from Jeremy H. Ohtani going deep. First pitch from BT Fouts. Love all the picks, guys. But that is going to do it. Remember, nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And until next time, think blue.